Hey everybody, thank you, Delia. Yep, my name is Cord. I've been with ShareFile for 6 years now. And I started with our support organization before I moved over to our customer success team. And with me today, I have Tepe.
Hey folks, my name is Tepe Umeno. I'm a customer success engineer that work along with Cord. I've been with ShareFile for roughly 10 years now, and thank you for attending our webinar.
All right. So yeah, today we're going to be doing our getting started webinar. So going through the basics of ShareFile. First, we wanted to thank everybody for being here today. It's always great to see so many people join. And want to learn more about our wonderful product. All right, so our agenda today, we're going to start with how to log into your account and how to find the subdomain that identifies your account for your company or organization. Then we'll get into navigating folders and getting to know the ShareFile UI. Then we'll do how to send and request files. And then Tepe is going to take us on a brief tour of our eSignature platform, and then jump into folder access and permissions, how to add new users, specifically clients to your account, a review of the personal settings on the account. And then we'll do some of our desktop applications and some other resources, and then we'll jump into our live Q&A. All right, so let's go ahead and get into our demo here. So the first place we're going to start is our login page. So once you arrive at the ShareFile login page, you'll be able to enter your email and password. I will note that every login page has its own specific subdomain. If you look up here in your URL bar, before the .sharefile.com, you will see a specific notation. For this one, it's core demos. This is my demo account. For you, it'll probably be something like your organization name or maybe the acronym for your organization. And I also wanted to point out, we are going to have a new sign-in experience coming next week. And we are going to send out an email about that. And I believe there's also some documentation being posted in the chat as we speak. So you should be able to follow that if you want to see more about that. And just a brief preview, this is what it's going to look like. You will be able to brand this the same as you can brand the current ShareFile login page. So you could change this image, you can change the ShareFile name right here. But all you'll do is you'll put in your email and then continue on to your password, or if you're using single sign-on at your company, you can sign in that way as well. So nothing major is going to change in functionality. It's primarily a facelift in preparation for some additional changes coming later this year. But yeah, as we are here, if you do forget your password, all you need to do is do a forgot password here and follow. It'll probably ask you for a CAPTCHA, and you'll complete that and then get an email with your reset password. If you do ever forget your subdomain, there's also a forgot subdomain button. If we go to our main login page here, it'll ask you your subdomain here. And again, that's going to be this part again before .sharefile.com. And if you don't know it, if you come to the main ShareFile login page, you can do don't know your subdomain, enter your email address, complete the CAPTCHA, and you'll get an email with a list of your subdomains, and you'll choose the one that is the correct one. And then you'll be able to just put that URL in or follow the links in the email to get to the correct login page. So we're going to go ahead and log in here. Oh, I sat on that page too long. For new users, you may be prompted to set up two-factor authentication. It'll ask you for a phone number. Because I've logged in on this machine before, it's not asking me for that, but it may prompt you for that phone number code. And you can receive that either via voice or text, or you can set up a authenticator app and access it that way. And that's just extra security on your account. Most employee accounts will have that set up. You can also require that, or clients can set that up themselves, for client accounts as well, just to help with that extra security. All right, so this is our ShareFile homepage. This dashboard is customizable, so you can move these blocks around however you see fit. You also have an edit dashboard button here in the top right corner, and you could remove particular things on here. So if you didn't want to see your recent files, you could remove that and just customize that however you see fit. From the shortcuts here, you can do a simple share and request files, access many of the things that are over here on the left sidebar, but it gives you a little bit more direct way to those functions. We also have our tutorial section down here with a lot of our helpful videos, as well as our helpful links here just to go to our documentation pages. And you can go into more advanced topics here as well. The bulk of your ShareFile account is going to be contained in the folders section here. So you'll have a personal folders section. This is where anything you're not sharing with other folks is kind of meant to go. So if you're working on a project by yourself, you might put it in here, make your changes, and then when it is ready to share with other people, you can move it or you can move it out here to the shared folders directory, which is where all the collaboration and sharing in and out is best done. So as you can see set up here, I've set up a client folder section. I also have like business clients, individual clients. I have a folder for a human resources department. I have a project folder. It's best for organizing your folders to kind of have this broader approach rather than putting all your folders at this root directory. It's better to organize them. It makes managing them much easier, as well as controlling what your employees may be putting into the site. That way you have that organization structure to work out of and give other people access as well when you add a new employee to your company, for instance. So once you have a folder set up, you can come in here to the people section and you can see who's on that folder. And Tepe should get into that more later. But once you have this folder set up, let's say I wanted to share a file from here. So I could come to this usage report, for example, and then once I select that, I'll have the share option here. If I wanted to share multiples of these, I could select them. I could also select a folder and share these all at once. So we'll go ahead and just do one file for right now, and we'll do share. So what it's doing now, it's going to analyze the file content real quick and how the links are set up. This is part of our new AI system that kind of helps make sure that you're not unsecurely sharing files. So right now we have this usage report. If I wanted to add additional files that were in a different folder, for instance, I could come in here, find that file, and add it to this link. And then right now, yeah, so we can do create a link here. Once you've done create a link, you'll have the options to mess with here. So if we go into edit options under those three dots, we can see what the link options are. So how secure this link is. So right now, anybody who has this link can download from it, but we could also set that to view only. So the files never leave ShareFile. They're just viewed in ShareFile. We could also increase security and require sign-in. What that's going to do is require anybody with this that has this link will have to have a client or employee sign in to access it. We could also further increase that security and make it so only employee users could access that with their login. The next option here is our access. So if we only wanted this link to be valid for a week, we could come in here and set that. And particularly with watermarking, if view only permissions, if you had those set on this link, if you want to do a watermark, so even if someone takes a screenshot, they are only going to be able, it's going to have that information on it and kind of protect it even further. And then if you want to be notified when a link is accessed, particularly with share links, this is always good. That way you know if who you shared it to has accessed that link. You can be notified that way as well. So we can hit save there. And now we have this link. It's going to expire in less than 7 days. So it says 6 days. And we can just copy that and we can paste it into our email. We could add it to just a chat message, however you want to get that out to the recipient. Um, the other option for sharing and requesting as well is to send to specific people. This is going to have similar options here. Um, Sign in required, how long it's going to be accessed, requiring them to sign in to access it rather than it just being an open link that anybody can access if they have it. We could add the watermark. We can also, because we're sending an email, we can get a copy of that email as well if we would like one. But then we have our options here to basically just send an email. So you can come in here, type the address in, or find them in your address books or your shared address books, depending on who you're sharing to. So we're just going to share to Tepe here. So I just type his name in. It's already in the system, so it pops up. And then I can change the subject if I need to. And then I have a message I can add here. If I'm sending a link out to, or an email out to a lot of different people, but different files, and I always want the same message to be included, or maybe I have some sort of like boilerplate message I want to include, I can put that in here and do remember subject and message. That way, every time I do it, I'm not going to have to sit there and retype that whole message. I will note this save remember subject and message is saved in the browser cookies. So if you use a different computer or if you clear your browser cache and cookies, you will probably lose that message and you'll have to re-enter it. So once we have Tepe's in there or file in there, we can just say, hey, Tepe, and go ahead and send that, and it sends it off. Um, one other thing on the send to specific people is the encrypt this email. What this will do is encrypt the body of the email. So if we turn this on, when Tepe got this message, instead of just being able to see that email in his email inbox, he would get an email that says, you have been sent an encrypted message. So to actually see that message and access the files, he would have to go in and log into ShareFile to access it. So if you have any sort of important PHI or anything in that message or PII, encrypting it is a good security measure to make sure that that information isn't shared with beyond who it's supposed to be shared with. And then we'll get into requesting a file. So let's say I wanted to get a file from this Randy guy. All I need to do is come up here. We're in his folder now. Maybe I need his tax return for 2022. So I'm going to come in here, go to this circle in the top right. I go to request files. As we can see here, whatever is requested from him is going to get uploaded to this location, and it's set here. We can also come in here and change that if we wanted. But for right now, we're going to go with that. And then similar to the share link, we can get a link or we can do the email. And as well, we also have our link options. You can require anyone can just upload to it, in which case the file will show as anonymous. I always recommend to at least do name and email on your request files. That way you know who's uploading to it and what their email address is. If you want to be extra secure, you can turn on sign-in for uploads, in which case the user will have to have either be an employee or client user and sign in. And then we can also set the request. So if we have a week to get this done, we might set this request link to a week expiration, maybe a little longer. And then generally you want to be notified when those files are uploaded as well. So turning on those notifications on your requesting files. So yeah, once you have that request link, you can either again send it on your own email, or if you want to do the send from ShareFile, you can do that as well. So anytime you create a share link or a request link, it is put into that sent messages box. So if you send out a link and you maybe send it to the wrong person by mistake, if you come into this sent messages box, you can find that link, select it, and then expire it. So Tepe, if you could just check one of those. Yeah, you just have the expire options up there at the top. If you click on it, you can actually see if anybody accessed that link. It should tell you if anybody downloaded it. Just click on the name, the recipient name. Yeah, there you go. So it'll have the history and what the file might have been that was in there and where that file was stored itself. So you kind of have details of what you have sent out and if you need to expire those links for whatever reason. we have our new share settings for the account. I mean, this is more of an admin thing, but for any new admins here, it's definitely a good thing to go over. So yeah, if we go into settings, admin settings, advanced preferences, and then file settings, you have both your share and request settings. So if you want to require every share you send out to be login only, you can deselect those first two boxes. If you want to further make it so only employees can access shares, you can deselect the client employees as well. And this will change all share links across your account and set
Even
those that
existing
way.
ones. Yeah.
You can also set the default permissions on that next setting there. So if you want it to only be employee logins by default or client and employee logins by default, all those will be available in there. And additionally, if you're using the Outlook plugin, you can set the default permissions for those settings here as well. So if you wanted to change up how the plugin worked as well for users. And then if you scroll down a little bit, there will be the request settings, which are pretty similar, same stuff.
Yeah, and typically for request settings, you'll just it's not as much of a concern for uploads and such. So
Yeah. Yeah. Generally, I recommend at least name and email just so you know where their files are coming from. But um, sometimes you might want to require that login if you need to. So we'll go ahead and hand it over to Tepe, who is going to show us our signatures feature.
all right, great. Okay, so first thing I want to talk about is going to be the signature field. Um, so signatures, e-signatures, we have a new method of doing it. It is going to be directly from your ShareFile account. If you need to, if you wanted to switch to your old right signature experience, you can go up here to the top and hit the option to switch over there. For today, I'm just going to go over the new functionality. We have some videos online that go over the older right signature experience as well too. Okay, so I'm gonna hit when you go up to the top right here and you hit create signature request, you have an option to send for signature, bulk send to multiple users, and finally an option to sign a document by yourself as well too. Now we also have templates here on the left hand side, and so if you have any some e-signature templates that you want to save and continuously reuse, you can go in here and create them as well. So for example, I've got this rental agreement template that I've built out, and in here you can see that all the checkboxes is already pre-filled, and I can edit it and send it out for a signature request as well too. All right, so let's just say we're starting from scratch, and I'm going to send for signature. Now, when I go here, I'm going to upload. Well, before I do that, you have the option to choose from ShareFile from your PC or Mac, and also, again, use a template. I'm just going to upload a file so that you can see what the experience is going to look like. And from here, I'm going to do test user and ShareFile test. Pretty sure that was the email address I used. And if you needed to, you can add additional signers. So if you have like signing orders and such, you can do that as well too. For now, I'm just going to do one signer to make it a little bit easier. Okay, so now that we're in here, you'll see on the left-hand side the different kinds of fields that you can place into the document itself. Really quickly, simple one is a text field and such. Date fields, for example, like right here and right here. Drop down boxes. If you do a drop down box, you can put in the options here on the right hand side. And check boxes. If I wanted to do check boxes, for example, for these snowboard equipment, I can make these check boxes here as well too. If you have something like a yes no statement, like down here, I can add that in right there. And then you can see the options to do multiple selections or just a single selection, and as well to um, add additional checkboxes as well. If needed, you also have the option for adding attachments into the documents. Um, but yeah, let's just go in here, add a few signatures. Now, when I do a signature in here, you can see that when I select the signature, if you had multiple signers, you'll go over here to the right-hand side and select who is going to be signing the document as well. All right. So now I'm going to hit the next step here. And from here, you can name the document. I'm just going to keep it the sample rental agreement. And you can also choose to select where that file is going to be saved back to. So, and so I'm going to put it in that rental agreements folder. I can, again, put in a little message to the user about the document that's being sent, an expiration date for when the file has to be, the document has to be executed by, and then two additional security options here on the bottom. Passcode. When you turn on the passcode, it'll generate a passcode that you can send off to your client user or your third party user and have them authenticate into the document. Knowledge based authentication. Basically, they will be provided with some questions about their background. And if they're answer the questions correctly, then they'll be able to go in and execute on the document. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and send for signature. And after it's sent, you'll see the activity and the progress on the document over here on the right-hand side. So you have the due date, recipients, and such. You can change the due dates. If you needed to, you can also hit reminders. You can void the document, revise the document, and then you can also see the different kind of activity that is occurring on the document itself. So let me show you what that looks like on my side. So once you get the signature, it's going to look like this. And so let me just go ahead and quickly execute on this. And now when you're signing the document, you have the option to freehand, just like this. Or you can choose to just type the signature as well. And then as a signer at the bottom, you also have the option to download the document or decline the document. Save progress on it so that you can work on it later, or just go ahead and hit submit. Okay, so now that the document's submitted, let's just go back here and refresh this page. So yeah, now you can see the activity on the document itself when it was executed. And then when you look at the document here, you'll see all the signatures and the checkboxes and text fields filled out. And then at the bottom, you'll also see the signature certificate that's attached to it. Now, if we go back into that ShareFile folder, you'll see the document here that was saved again. And again, it's the same file with the signature there at the bottom. All right, now that we're here, I'm going to jump straight into folder access. So from here, if we go into people section, you can see there's my name and then there's super user group. Super user groups just means that it's a group of administrators that have full access to your folder. Now, if I wanted to add people to this folder, all I have to do is hit add people to folder. And one of the ways that you can add new users to your ShareFile account is just going to hit create new user, and you just go ahead and type their email address. So this one, let's just make up one, test user sharefile.com, and then make sure you check the permissions here on the right hand side, and whether you want to notify the users or apply the permissions to any existing subfolders there. So I'm going to hit add. Now you see that the user has been added. And that's just one way to create new users on your ShareFile account. And if you wanted to remove the user from the folder, it's just as simple as making sure you go and hit the checkbox, you hit remove, and there you go. Now, next item is additional ways to add new users to your ShareFile account. So we already talked about how you can create users from the folder access page. Another way is the way that Cord mentioned with your share requests or your upload requests. When you send to a specific person, you can either type in existing user like this, and it will pull up that user, or you can just go ahead and just type the email address as if they already as it is, and ShareFile will send them the login credentials necessary to log into their ShareFile account. And then finally, the last way to add users is to just go into your people section and go to browse clients, and then to manually add them from here. Now, if you needed to add multiple users, you can use this plus sign to add multiple users like that, or you can just import them through a spreadsheet as well too. And then through this process, you can go through the additional process of adding them to multiple folders as well too. Let's go over projects real quick though. So this is our new feature that's coming out, and you might see it in here if you have a premium offering of ShareFile, and that goes with the eSignature as well too. The eSignature and projects there are in our premium offering. And so when you go in here, you'll see that it's basically a way to keep tabs on tasks and document risk requests. So, one of the solutions that we're building out, for example, is if you're doing tax returns for an individual, you would go in here and create a project for that individual for like the 2025 tax returns. And you can go in here, see tasks that are available to individuals. You can do document requests. Like, for example, here we got a 1099 and such. We even have things like putting comments in here regarding document requests. So if we go into a specific document, we can ask, things like, I can't find it. What does it look like? To the project owners. So, and this will keep track of this. It's very nice project feature that we're building out, and in the future, what we're planning to do is we're planning to build out more integrations with it, and build out automation around it as well too. Next on the list, I wanted to go over personal settings. So personal settings, you can change how your profile looks on your ShareFile account, how your name looks. If you needed to reset your password, or things like changing your two-step verification. So if you have two-step verification enabled on your ShareFile account, you can update your phone number, update the authenticator app settings on there as well. Other things you can do, you can review advanced connections like FTP, and as well at the very last item here is reviewing additional applications that you might have ShareFile launched through, whether that be the ShareFile desktop application, the ShareFile Outlook plugin and such. You can see all that in here. Now, speaking of which applications, we have the ShareFile for Windows, ShareFile for Mac, which is a desktop experience to navigate through your ShareFile account and as if the content exists as a drive on your local machine. Now, ShareFile for Outlook allows you to send out files securely, or if it's large files, you can send those out through Outlook, leveraging ShareFile to reduce the large files used in Outlook, as well as making sure that the files are secured. And then finally, we also have the mobile applications. If you wanted to browse your content, your ShareFile content from a mobile app, or if you wanted to just send out documents, that's a great way to send out documents quickly. Okay. And lastly, I wanted to go over additional resources we have available on ShareFile. We have the YouTube channel. We have other future webinars and events. We have our documentations page, and we also have our ShareFile support page, which is just going to be support.sharefile.com. All our team, the customer success team, is monitoring the community page here too. So if you have any additional questions you might want to just ask the ShareFile community, you can go in here and ask it, and we're watching it. So it's a great way to get in touch with us. youtube.com/ShareFile. Really simple. There's our ShareFile page. And then our ShareFile webinar page. Let me see. I don't have that one up real quick. So that's our webinars page, sharefile.com/events-webinars. And then our documentation is docs.sharefile.com.